Sad Dad Games podcast. I'm Shan.
I'm Eric.
I'm Tucker.
Today we're going to attempt to do 5 episodes of Death Stranding 2 on the beach from episode 10 to 14.
To 14?
It's never been done before. Yeah.
Oh, man.
You deliver a bunch of stuff. Episode over.
Episode
Yeah.
over.
But
Stuff
guess
happens,
what?
you bring boxes, the end. Yeah.
You want to see how we do it? Episode 10, Isolation. Nothing happens. Episode
You're
11,
isolated.
Quake.
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty yeah. Not a lot happens.
No, yeah. So what happened in episode 9? We got. I think this is you could say that this is the start of Act 3, where, at least emotionally for Sam's character. We just found out that Lou, as he understands it, doesn't actually exist in the pod, and so he's finally starting to arc towards acceptance that he has lost Lou and that Fragile, failed as a babysitter. And
Yeah, for any babysitters out there that feel like they're doing a crappy job and have made mistakes, you're not as bad as Fragile.
That's right. Anyway, so he has his sad shower, which is what you do when you're sad. You have a sad shower.
Yep.
And
You curl up in a ball on the floor and you just let the water wash over you while you cry.
That's
shower.
right.
Yeah.
And then you wake up and it's episode 10, Isolation. And he looks over at the pod and Baby Lou is back in it. And it's like, is he back in denial? I don't know what this is supposed to say. He sees bubbles in there. Or maybe it's saying we were lied to. Maybe Lou was in there and they tricked him and convinced him that Lou wasn't in there, but it actually was. So where's the misdirection? I don't know. So anyway, at the end of this Isolation episode, which is very short, basically nothing happens, like one mission or so, you get another Tarfall event. And I think earlier I talked about how there was a Tarfall event that was like Moses parting the sea, but that was actually this part. I think I just conflated the two. This one, the Tarfall parts, and Neil is waiting at the end, and so Sam walks into it, and then he gets shot up in the air because he is more than willing to participate in this afterlife event. He's very curious about this.
Yeah, that is something that I did think was interesting. Is when you get to that first event, Sam walks up kind of cautiously. He gets grabbed and pulled in, and then in the next one, and it's by a mirror image of himself. And then in the next one, the tar kind of parts, and you see Neil Vanna, and he reaches out his hand. Sam grabs his hand, and then it pulls him into there. And then in this third one, he sees the figure of a pregnant woman, presumably Lucy. And Sam actively chooses to go forward. So each time he's experienced one of these massive tar chiral events, he's become slightly more willing and more actively engaged in going to them and participating in them. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, he's not a curious person, but he definitely wants to know about Lou. And so that makes him a multifaceted person. He's a complicated guy. In that he's not interested in knowing anything about anyone at any point but Lou. He wants to know Lou's backstory. So episode 11, Quake. He ends up in Nirvana for a third time in the metro. He sees Cryptobiotes flying around, and one falls in his hand, and its ghost shell incinerates to reveal a cryptobiote. So chronobiotes are cryptobiotes that are infected by chiral microbes. So chiral microbes are the microbes that are coming from the upper beach that create extinction entities and stuff like that. So this is described in some lore at some point in the game. They are sort of like the microbial entities that create the Death Stranding, and they have created this ghost shell around Cryptobiotes to create chronobiotes. So we're starting to learn about the life cycle of Cryptobiotes, which is important and it's not really discussed in great detail why it's important, but I will get into that later, especially in the next episode.
Shane's got theories.
No, I don't have theories. I just know.
Oh, sorry.
Shane's got facts.
Shane has facts. Yeah.
I'm gonna drop them. Yeah. As you're leaving the metro, you also hear baby crying. Just kind of like shadows of tragedy. I don't know if it's supposed to be more than that, but Sam may be recalling his tragedy of his Lou death.
I was going to say, every time I hear a baby cry or whine or anything like that in this game, it just twists the dagger in my heart a little bit because it just feels like, Lou.
Yeah. You see Nirvana shadows running past the door of the metro. You feel a gate quake. Then you see Neil's crew driving in with a truck upside down, and Sam just crashes through the window, which is badass, by the way. And he's blindfolded and he removes it. At this point, no, he crashes through the window at a different part. He's removed from the car like a hostage at this part. And the building is collapsing like there's an earthquake because the title of this episode is Quake. So his head is covered, he's gagged, he's blindfolded. In these different episodes, he has the bag on his face. He's gagged at one point, he's blindfolded. So I'm wondering if this is like a hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil type thing. If you kind of line up those three different Nirvana instances.
All right. Yeah, I actually had questions about that, so that makes sense. I wonder why the hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil thing. Why do you think that motif?
I don't know.
Choice?
It's just, yeah. Anyway, so the rubble starts floating around, and him and his people, they light up, the bag glows, and you hear a distant baby cry, and you also see he's holding a bag. He's a smuggler, right? So he's got his smuggle bag, and it starts glowing. And so at one point that this is the Amelie doll that he's smuggling around. Anyway, so that's fun. I don't know why it's glowing, but I do have theory that it's glowing because of the last stranding. It's kind of pulsating, and the color is evocative of that last stranding effect from like the penultimate episode of Death Stranding 1, off in the horizon. It's kind of that similar color. So anyway, gravity is weird here in Nirvana. Everything's kind of floating around this metro station. We're in Mexico. So I did not know why we were in this metro station, because I couldn't tie it to anything from the story at any point before and after I finished this game. Have you had any reason to believe why we were in a metro station?
I don't specifically, besides that it would be some kind of event must have taken Quake, because it's Quake, right? And I think that something that could be particularly devastated by a quake would be a metro. And so that possibly there is some kind of horrible occurrence there that happened because of a quake. But I didn't know specifically how it tied to Neil and how it tied to Sam and everyone else.
Yeah, the closest theory I've been able to come up with is it is the city that gets voided out when Sam dies. That kills Lucy, kills Neil, kind of.
Yeah. So
is that this is that area? That was the closest I can come to what a metro might mean. Is it this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the modern city.
I thought that too, but this is Mexico, and they were in the UCA when they voided out, and so that would be just north of the border in America, or the UCA. So I had to rule that out. I looked into this. This metro station is modeled after San Lázaro metro station, which is just around central Mexico. And if you look at the map of Mexico that you can explore in the game, they talk about how there is a giant ass tar belt that has divided Mexico from the rest of Mexico in South America, so they were never able to explore it. And there's a plate gate that is just north of that. So this might be a metro station that is right north of where there was the giant quake that caused the tar belt that divided Mexico. Why Neil is there, I don't know, but this could just be an area of mass tragedy and mass death, and he is able to travel to this area.
Neil was smuggling still mothers from Mexico to the UCA, so it could have been.
So I thought about that too. Yeah. If you're not thinking of this as a literal location that's in Central America or Central Mexico, then this could be a metro station that is on the border that he is using for smuggling. I don't know how you could smuggle human beings in the metro. He'd probably be smuggling them across the border between the open borders that we never really built the walls to prevent. But it's complicated.
I feel like there's just a comment storm brewing.
It's a loaded topic.
Please, all the comments, everybody comment. Tell us how Shan is wrong. Tell us how he's right. Just
no.
If you know what's going on, let us know. Yeah,
it's just objective fact. We were never. It's objective fact. We were never able to build all of the wall. We probably should have built at least most of the parts that we couldn't easily walk. There are parts that can be easily walked across. Maybe we should build that part of the wall. And if Neil is smuggling across that part of the Mexico, that makes a case for it, And especially if he's smuggling still mothers with fetuses in them, it makes a case. If you take this at face value. Anyway, we should probably move on from is this location
human trafficking and hot topic.
How many more times can we say human trafficking in an episode?
Yeah.
That's right. YouTube actually just loosened up the rules on what you can say in videos. Not that we were
awesome.
even monetized. So fuck yeah. Anyway, so Sam at this point, he has his eye vision moment where he gets to have Neil's perspective. He sees Neil going to sit on the metro. Neil lights a cigarette. You see a reflection of him in the window of the metro. He's wearing a suit. He's looking out at the chiral cinders falling on the Dia de los Muertos scene. So it's a flashback to him as a kid looking for his parents, and you see the Nirvana shadows running around him, and he's burned by that necklace charm. You see child Lucy coming to help him, and she gets stuck under a pillar. This is similar, if you remember, to when Tomorrow gets stuck under a pillar. Did you notice that?
I did notice that. Yeah, that the pillar falls and I did notice that similarity.
Okay. Anyway, so he can't pull her out, and then he hears his parents, and he looks up to see two giant BTs. So Lucy gets burned by the charm that's on Neil's hand, and the flashback ends. He removes the necklace that he's wearing, and it's also holding a flash drive, and he stands up to start fighting Sam again.
Yeah, so for this flashback, for a moment, I was really confused until I thought about it for a second, because I thought that they were going back into the afterlife space of the conflagration chapter, and I was like, why is Lucy there? Why is Neil there as a child? And then I realized that was something that happened in the real world, and the conflagration chapter was Neil being stuck in that memory or moment. But for a solid hour of the game after that, I was like, that didn't make any sense to me at all until I thought about it. I was like, oh, of course, was not the afterlife. That's just the thing that happened to them when they were kids.
Yeah, that's right. So you start having this metro train fight, and the train is falling up into the sky.
So cool.
Right.
Very cool fight.
We know that physics and gravity gets inverted when there is huge chiralium density in the area. So it could be that this is an area of a void out. It could be that we're just in a Nirvana space with high chiralium density because it's a beach-like area. But in any case, it's just really, really cool to be running along this train as it's falling up. But it's not really cool that Dollman explains that it's falling up, because one can deduce that as one is running alongside it.
Yeah.
Oh, really,
like
Dollman? Is it falling up? I had no idea.
Yeah, it's like if you're watching Inception and somebody was explaining to you what was happening as you were watching like the hallway fight scene, and you're like, oh, cool, I have eyes, I can see that.
Oh, Sam, the gravity here is affected because blah, 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 blah. I don't care, Dollman. I understand. I'm not an idiot. When things fall up, I can see that they're falling up.
Yeah, let me enjoy this badass fight scene without your needless exposition on what is happening.
Please close your mouth forever.
Sam, here the things fall up. It's a bad Office reference.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you run to the end of the metro, and then Sam offers you Neil offers you flowers in his suit, and he says it's to make it romantic, and the flowers light up. So this is a reference to what in a later episode we'll get to, where he offers Lucy flowers because he wants to make that romantic, their getaway, even though it's really just this. It's what men do, right? Like he's clear. Like she clearly just wants to like get out of the city and wants to pretend that it's she told him it's not his baby. He knows that. He knows it's not supposed to be romantic, but he's being sarcastic that the flowers are romantic, but they're really not. In hopes that maybe she'll actually be charmed because he actually wants to bone her. Like, this is just what guys do. They're like, it's Schrodinger's romance. It's like, well, if you didn't like it, then it's just sarcasm. But if you did like it, then let's go bone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real dirtbag move. Just Sam, who'd been cuckolded by this guy.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works. The Office man is like, it turns out you've been cuckolded by a much stronger man.
No.
So after you defeat Neil, you see chronobiotes floating around him, similar to how we've seen Tomorrow with chronobiotes floating around her, like when she was crushed by a pillar, and we also saw Lou when she was in her pod at the beginning of the game. When she was a BT, we saw chronobiotes floating around her at that point. So we know that there is some mechanic to when these chronobiotes seem to float around these Haas or these beings or BTs or something like that. So Neil asks if this is Sam. So apparently he didn't even know if this was Sam. He just decided to start killing.
We're going to shoot things and ask questions later. And the question is, are you Sam? Or are you the person I'm trying to shoot? Yeah.
This is really awkward otherwise. So then he sees that there's rubble falling from the sky, and Neil saves him from Sam from the collapsing rubble, and he gets stuck. Has Neil redeemed himself?
Just thinking, it's super weird behavior for someone that's been trying to kill you for 3 chapters, you know? And it's, are you Sam? And, oh yeah, let me push you out of the way of this thing. And so I was a little confused by that at first, but I think that understanding that he is Sam, and from things that we'll kind of learn a little bit later, that, you know, Neil seems like a stand-up guy, and I think that he's just trying to do the right thing, because shortly after this he says, you know, protect her, protect Lou. And so even though the baby, he you know, believes that the baby's not his, he's wanting that baby to be protected because it's the child of the woman he loves. So
yeah, to Neil's defense, I'm trying to kill you for 3 chapters. Sam is decked out in Bridges light gear this entire time, and Neil died fighting Bridges, and so
it's really just a reflex.
It makes sense of just like, it's, hey, there's Bridges people, I'm gonna kill them because they're trying to take away this baby.
So I think y'all missed it. So Neil pushing Sam out of the way is supposed to be his arc from the moment that he failed to save Lucy from the collapsed rubble. And he was always broken about that moment. And so him pushing Sam out of the way from being crushed under rubble itself and then getting stuck himself, it's as if he has completed his arc, that he is no longer being selfish. He has put someone else's life before his own, especially someone that he kind of hates. And it was for Lucy, technically. It's subtle, but it's there. And so I think he has redeemed himself. In fact, they just did the flashback like 5 effing minutes ago. So if you missed it, that's on you. Anyway, I like it when Dollman doesn't hold your hand and tell you things, but you might miss things.
Yeah. No, I totally missed that because Dollman didn't spell it out for me.
Yeah.
In Dollman's defense, now Shanman, the douche, is spelling things out.
I
don't like
it.
Oh, it's worse somehow.
Yeah.
All right. So Neil, he's back in his suit and he apologizes. He tried to protect them, Lucy and Lou. He hands Sam the necklace and the flash drive, and he tells Sam to keep Lou safe. But, you know, it's a little too late. He doesn't have a great sense of time.
Yeah. And then Neil's like, why? What happened to Lou? She's fine, right? You got her? She's totally okay? Yeah.
Yeah. So if he wasn't mad about that, what the heck was he mad about? No, I think he was just jealous that Sam got to bone Lucy, or that Lucy decided to go back to him. So anyway, so Neil goes and touches him, and Sam gets a flashback. So this is, you know, supposed to be parallel to Cliff giving him the embrace in the first game and then getting all those flashbacks. So that's when we get a lot of exposition that we were missing. So Neil goes to visit Lucy at Bridges. He goes to smoke, but he is stopped. So this is probably because he's Italian and Italians love to smoke, right? Because I guess Kojima is going for a lot of stereotypes in this game to be true to their roots of their ethnicities. Look, I lived in Portugal for 2 years. Those people love to smoke. Europeans smoke all the time.
It's just a fact.
It's just a fact. It's just what it is. Another fun fact, while I was in Portugal, it took me a while to realize that just like how many people were missing limbs. It's just
interesting observation.
Yeah.
They were missing fingers, limbs, arms, legs, toes. Like, I hadn't realized how poor their healthcare was, and so if anything ever went wrong, they just cut it off. A lot of fun observations out there. So they would just,
First go-to as any doctor is just like, yeah, I've got a stuffy nose. We'll chop your finger off. It'll be fine. Yeah,
exactly. So like some of my favorite towns and stuff, you just go out there first thing in the morning. People are smoking, they're drinking, they're getting day drunk, and they're missing limbs, and it's just like, it's just so European. It's the most European thing. It's a vibe, you know.
Just
it's so different
day
from what I
drunk
know.
with your leg missing, 6 fingers gone, smoking. Yeah,
it's charming in its own way. But Neil, he is very handsome man. He has all of his limbs, and by the way, Neil and Lucy, this actor and this actress, they're actually married in real life. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, couldn't tell by their on-screen chemistry, but yeah.
Luca Marinelli and Alyssa Jung. So she's German, if you couldn't tell by her accent. And they have a 4-year difference. He's 40 right now, and she's 44.
Older woman.
Yeah. He can pull.
Yeah.
So he's a porter. just like Sam. So she has a thing, right?
She got tight.
Well, she's also got a thing for dating her patients, apparently.
Yeah.
Super professional.
She has no boundaries.
Yeah, she's watched one too many pornos, dating patients, likes delivery guys.
That's right.
Like,
So Tucker and I were going to be psychologists, or at least we got psychology degrees, and this was the reason, right? It's because we knew that there were no boundaries with
I'm gonna date everybody.
We're going to date everybody, right? Like everybody gets really vulnerable with you, and there are no boundaries, and you know that things just happen. But then we realized that there was no money in it.
I feel like I need you to listen back to that and just hear how creepy that sounds. I wanted to be a therapist so that I could be around a lot of emotionally vulnerable people. Yeah.
The first analrapist.
An analyst therapist. The first analrapist. It was so funny. Anyway, so on a different day, she confronts Neil about the burn. She was just bearing the lead. She knew about this for a little bit, and she's like, really? You don't remember me? She ends up slapping him. She hits him, and he starts breaking down. He never realized that she was still alive. He embraces her. It is very emotionally raw. I actually really, really like the acting in this scene. So after this, we cut to the Bridges agent accusing Neil of all the crimes of his illegal entry. Neil was doing the dirty work to have, and they were having everything overlooked, and the man threatens him, but Neil wants out of this. Classic, right?
I want out. This is my last job. And they're like, all right, you got to do one more job for us if you want out.
I'm not doing it. You will do it. Okay.
Okay. You got me. I didn't think that you'd ask me twice. Yeah.
That's right. All right. So after this, he confesses to Lucy he would smuggle brain-dead pregnant women from Mexico as sacrifices to the network.
Not a good look, Neil.
To the chiral network. I love the acting in all of these scenes. He is a very good actor, and
I
he's
think
basically unknown. Okay, then we cut to him talking about he gave her a scarf, so he's grooming her, I guess. I don't know. Just the boundaries are just so blurred here.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that she's grooming him either, but like, I feel like I don't know, for the first little glimpses that you get of Lucy, my impression of her was kind of like, I don't know, she's like, I don't know about this chick. Like, she's like dating her patients and being really intimate and close with both of them, and telling them both like, it's not your baby. And I was like, what is your deal, lady? Like,
Death Stranding, just code of ethics out the window.
Yeah,
for therapists.
Yeah, especially this analrapist.
It's okay as long as you had the inflection there. We won't get demonetized as long as you say it that way. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure that it'll be, the closed captioning will be automatically generated. It'll be like, how the heck did that get past us?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Anyway, so Lucy thinks she's being watched. So Neil goes to take a selfie with them. So this is the same selfie that we saw several episodes earlier when it is revealed that Lucy cheated on Sam, and Sam's reveals that the baby was never his and all that stuff. So that's where this picture comes from. Turns out it was just a selfie that was a misunderstanding, and that Neil was just looking to take a selfie. It was another Schrodinger's selfie situation. It's like
I took it as just a spy move of just like, I need to see who's behind
it. Was a spy move, but he kept it. He is like, of course I'm going to delete it, and he kept it.
Things can be two things. Yeah.
Look, I've done this kind of stupid move as like a young man in college. It's like, oh yeah, I definitely need to take a picture for you to be I can't have contacts in my phone without pictures. No, I wanted a picture of.
Boo.
Boo! I was a loser. That's what that was. This guy's being a
Boo!
loser.
Everyone does that. I need a picture of you for my contact, and then you just, oh, she's so pretty. Like,
It's
because she
never
was
once
pretty.
did that. That's ridiculous.
Really?
Okay, see, Eric also
Alright.
did it. We were losers in college.
were losers
This is
apparently.
what you
Well,
do.
That's
just-
a terrible move.
we were just pining after people who didn't pine back, and so
Exactly. It was unreciprocated.
yeah.
I feel Neil's pain. I do really like him in a really pathetic way. And I feel like Eric, maybe you're on the same wavelength.
I feel that where you're the playing second fiddle. It's a bad feeling. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So in another scene, she reveals that the baby sign is zodiac. What? So that means that this baby was conceived in September or October and
Wait, it's
born
zodiac?
in July.
Zodiac
Yeah.
is all of them. Like
So-
it's your
yeah,
zodiac
zodiac
sign,
signs.
right?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
The zodiac sign is Cancer.
Okay.
Sorry. This isn't.
What's your
This
sign?
isn't my
Zodiac.
world.
I'm
Yeah,
all of them.
Zodiac.
Yeah.
It's a zodiac killer. No, this isn't my world. As soon as she said that, like, my brain turned off. I was like, this isn't my world. I don't care about this. Like,
Just
what does the
astrology
sign
blinders on.
exactly? It's like, why don't you just like say what month it was conceived? That makes so much more sense to me.
It's your higher mind protecting you from from the stupidity of astrology. Yeah.
That's right. But to each their own.
I love that. Anytime anyone asks me what my sign is, I'm going to tell them zodiac. What's your sign? Zodiac. I'm all of them. I've got
I'm
all the
just a hun-
personalities.
I love it when April gives like the stuffed bunny. She's like, I'm just a harmless bunny, but I'm the Zodiac killer. Anyway, so I don't know if there's any lore that you can deduce from this child being conceived in September, October, born in July, but I wrote it down just in case so we can come back to it if we need to.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if just the double meaning of Cancer here and with Bridget and all of that jazz. That was
Maybe.
my loose connection I made. But yeah.
Okay.
I also had my astrology blinders on and said, I don't care about that.
I don't give a shit.
I don't remember them
Yeah.
at all mentioning a zodiac sign.
She leads with it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she says Sam is the father. She breaks it off with Neil, but he wants her so badly. She says she loves him, which is a bad move. If you're cutting it off, stop saying shit like that, right?
Come on.
Men can't, like, this is like How I Met Your Mother when it's like you're leaving the door open. What is that episode? Yeah. You don't leave the door open. You don't leave them on the hook.
I
You
can't
have
be with
to-
you right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Exactly what
Yeah.
this is.
There's nothing
because
worse
men-
than getting strung along.
Because this might work for a woman where you can be like, I love you, but it can't happen. They'd be like, okay, well then I'm going to move on because I'm a woman and I need something real and definitive. For a man, they're like, so you're saying there's a chance.
I'm just going to sit here on my hands for years and wait for you. Yeah.
We all went through this. We all wasted too many years of our lives not moving on and looking for women that might actually like us because women who wanted to keep men in their orbit so that they can feel good about themselves, just strung a bunch of men along for no damn good reason.
All right, guys, let's rattle them off one at a time. First and last names. Current addresses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get your pitchforks out. let's
Who are all these women that scorned us?
Yeah.
Let's
Just the
just kidding.
incel
It's
doxing
terrible. It's
list.
fine. Yeah.
yeah, let's go dox them. That's right. Anyway, so this symbol that is on their hands, I don't know that it's officially supposed to be this, but it looks like through reverse image search, it could be a 2 comma swirl motif that is a fatatsu domo in Japanese. And that is essentially a 2-phase taijitsu, or a yin-yang symbol. It represents the interplay of 2 complementary forces in harmony. So this is like, in Japanese, there's like 3 phases of this symbol, a 1 comma, 2 comma, 3 comma. And I mean, it doesn't necessarily look exactly 1-to-1, but it's the closest thing I could find that looks like it. It could just be his own completely made up symbol, but if it is made to be that, then it would, in that case, represent two complementary forces in harmony, which means that they are two star-crossed lovers. Maybe
Yeah, I
that's
like
what
that
that
idea.
is.
To me, it looks kind of like the Gerudo symbol from Legend of Zelda. But
Or it's that.
Or
Or
it's
it's
that.
that.
That's probably
one of the two.
Oh my god. Why do
everything
I
looks
try?
like Zelda. Yeah.
Yeah.
I waste so much time studying and writing this shit down, and then Eric comes in with this. Thank you, Eric.
Tell me
Thank
I'm
you.
wrong.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Thank you. I'm doing my part too.
All right. So after this, Neil disappears forever. He has ascended into Nirvana, I guess.
Into
All right.
Nirvana. Oh, I just got
Nirvana.
that.
Really? After they
No.
spelled it out. Right?
Yeah.
It was very
Dollman
obvious because Dollman spells it out for you the very first time you meet Neil. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So after this, Dollman says defeating BTs isn't the same thing as eliminating the threat. They are simply returned to the world of the dead for the time. They return after being severed. So this felt like small but real lore that we didn't necessarily understand. Maybe there's nothing, because we always thought you eliminated a BT, it's gone forever, it goes back to the world of the dead, but he's saying it can come back. But maybe he's just referring to like catchers can come back.
Yeah, they weren't very specific about it. It was like one of the times where I was like, what else do you have to say about that, Dollman? Because it was like
Really
he
have
said
nothing
something
else?
that was actually interesting and then stopped talking. And I was like, well, now wait a minute. Yeah.
If it's a catcher, that makes sense, because you're just pushing them back into the seam so that they can go back to watching over hunters and preventing them from escaping the seam. But then as soon as they get a chance, they're going to come right back and try to kill you by exiting through the tar again. That makes sense. They're only leaving the seam for a short time to attack you and then going back through. Maybe that's all he's saying. All right, so you get the flash drive and it reveals Neil's info. That was hard to say for a second, so I had to pause.
It reveals his info.
There you go. It
Reveals it.
Veals foe. So it was his baby, and Lucy left an apology and an explanation. She says the child was the offspring of a repatriate who was the world's first BB. She said it was Ivana's to hide the child. Oh no, sorry, I think I said that wrong. It was the offspring of the repatriate who was the world's first BB. So this elucidates definitively that Sam was the first BB. There was no one before him. And even though we had thrown back and forth, was he officially the first BB, because he was repatriated, and so although he was a BB, they didn't actually get to officially do BB things with him.
Yeah, they never used him as a BB, but he was in a BB.
He was a BB.
Yeah.
So not too much to make out of that, but officially he was BB00 before there was a BB00. So before they had designations for that.
Yeah, well, and it was also, it definitively, Fragile's talking here, and she says that the baby, like Lucy's baby, was actually Sam's baby. She says that definitively in the record. So it's like, at different points in time, Lucy has been like, hey, Sam, it's not your baby. And then to Neil, she's like, it's not your baby. And now it makes sense why. I don't know why she was lying to Sam exactly, but I know why she was... Well, no. I know why she was lying to Sam. I don't know why she lied to Neil. Probably just to get him to... Or
Yeah,
not.
I think
sorry, I'm speaking in circles. She lied to Sam. She didn't lie to Neil because it is Sam's baby. So she was telling Neil the truth, and so that she could be like, "Hey, I need you to go." But I don't know why she lied to Sam to be like, "It's not your baby," you know.
I think just plausible deniability. Like,
Yeah.
needs,
Oh, actually, no.
if
I do
this
know
baby's
why.
going to survive.
I do know why. Sorry. I finally finished the game, and so I'm at the same point Shannon Tucker are, and it's some of the details are getting mixed in my brain. But yeah, they talk about just here. Fragile says that Lucy told everyone that it was Neil's baby, so that they, to protect it from Bridges because it was the baby of a repatriate, and they were going to do like tests and stuff on it. So that's why she lied to Sam. That's why she didn't want Sam to believe it was her baby or was his baby.
Yeah. So we officially now know there was the BB experiments when Sam was a BB, and then there was like a 25 or 30 year hiatus, and then it was started up again for the Manhattan Project. So that's cleared up. There is a huge gap before they decided to try again. All right. So, episode 12, Fragile. There is a final bridge showdown on the way to Terminal Fort Knott. Big Red shows up. It turns out it's Deadman.
Yay, Deadman.
Yeah, it's a great reveal.
Weird
Which is
to
like,
be
I
so
don't
excited,
know-
right?
I don't know why Big Red was crying like a baby in earlier chapters. Still not super sure why that happened, but I'm glad to see
Right.
Deadman again.
Or using mobile sounds. So I'm not exactly sure. Deadman was at the time doing a lot of research into BB's past, Lou's past. So it could be that it had recordings and or Deadman had recordings and was using it for misdirection, something like that. I don't know.
Probably just Kojima trying to confuse us and being like, that was weird.
Yeah. Anyway, so Deadman's voice comes through the Odra deck. So, yeah, he takes out the bridge. Tarfall ascends at the top. Is this? I don't know what I wrote here. I'm just saying what I wrote, but I don't really get what I'm writing.
Yeah, so I really, really liked this part. This was super cool. It was like, hey, we need to connect this last way station, but there's a lot of ghost mechs in between you and that last way station. It's like, this is the last stop to fully connect Australia to the Chiral network. And so, but there's like 2 way stations, I think, along the way. And then the third one is like the distribution center. And I love this part because it was like, It was really epic. There were flaming whales falling from the sky, and there's lots of ghost mechs to fight. There's a part where like there was another bushfire, and so you had to like get to the connection point quickly so that the DHV Magellan could pop up, like could connect to that area, and then Rainey could get out in the hole and like rain down on it. So it was a very cool like collaborative effort. Tomorrow is manning like the miniguns on the board of the DHV Magellan, and so it's like everyone's working together to get Sam like on this last little leg of his journey to fully connect Australia. So it was this really awesome like big teammate moment, and then it was very, very cool. And then when you get to the last little bit, Higgs summons up a bunch of big old nasty ghost mechs, and you have to fight them on a bridge, and then very cool stuff.
That's right. Okay, thank you for helping me remember. I was just saying words at some point.
Yeah.
So yeah, so Big Red slices up that bridge, and what I was saying was, you look up at the bridge after he breaks it, and you see Tarfall up there, and so Tarfall is the boundary that allows you to escape into Nirvana or the land of the dead. So I was wondering if this is the portal that Big Red is escaping to, or Deadman. So is Deadman in the land of the dead? Is the Tarfall how he's able to transport back and forth between the land of the living and the land of the dead? And it's subtle, but that's why the Tarfall is there probably.
Oh yeah, no, that would make sense. I was wondering why, because it looked a lot like those big like chiral anomalies that sucked you into the chapters with Nirvana. It looked a lot like that, and since it's able to pull Sam from like the world living to the world of the dead, it would stand to reason that that's a way that Deadman and his ghost mech thing could be using to kind of hop between realms.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah.
All right, so after this, Higgs shows up after connecting with the Cupid and rejects having a boss battle. And he says to the camera that you can't win. Love talking to the camera. And the Magellan skewers him in half.
Yeah, it is awesome. I love the whole, like, exactly what you said. I love the sly look that Higgs gives to the camera. He's like, no boss battle this time. And then he looks at the camera and goes, because you can't win. And it's just like another example of the game reaching out and talking directly to the player. He's not threatening Sam, he's threatening you. It's such a cool moment to be like, you are not strong enough to beat me, so suck it. And it's just this like, ooh, gives you goosebumps. Super cool. And then gets absolutely crap blasted by the Magellan.
Right. So Higgs's guts poke out and poke Fragile in her gunshot wound, and it finally admits it was him who shot her and Lou. And so we have proof. By the way, at the time we're recording this today, I went back and I renamed part 1 of this series. The Dango Hates My Baby. Yeah. The Dango in this instance is Higgs. He's the one that hates our baby. I just thought that was a clever name. I just wanted to throw it out there because I thought it was really funny. But anyway,
I was a fan of that one too. But I love this little like miniature monologue that Higgs gives. This back and forth between the characters. He says this. He's like trying to just get under Sam's skin. He goes, "Does this hurt, or does it still hurt? The memory of what I did." And then Fragile gets mad and shoots Higgs with the guitar gun. And then he goes, "By the way, Sam, it was me who killed Lou." And it's like, I knew it, right? Because, you know, all the ghost mechs and they're the people in red at the beginning of the game that show up and make a mess of things. But it's like, of course you like know that it's Higgs, but for him to sit there and like look at Sam and be like, "It was me. What are you gonna do about it?" is just a super ballsy move, and a really like, it's just something that I feel like Troy Baker as Higgs could only pull off in the way that he did. It's like intense but soft and creepy. It's just it's very, very well delivered, and it just makes Higgs this, like, it just makes your skin crawl kind of a villain. I love it.
Yeah, you want to beat him with a guitar so bad.
So you do.
And so you do. Well, Fragile is, but
yeah. Fragile zaps him and burns him and then beats him with a guitar. And he also admits to Sam what he did. So Sam gets to shoot him. And he just loves that Sam is indulging in revenge. So he's kind of gone, like, he loves the sadism. He loves the masochism. He's like the Joker here, where the Joker only ever wanted to prove that he could break the Batman, and that he just wanted the Batman to break his one rule, that he wouldn't kill somebody. And that's where he's gotten Sam, is like, just kill me. Which, you know, it's not like that was a hard and fast rule for Sam, but he's like, I want you to do this because you want revenge. And that is what I want to elicit from you, proving that you're no better than me.
Yeah, there's a really cool run of comics for Batman called The Killing Joke, where Joker does a similar thing to Jim Gordon. He's trying to prove that, like, all it takes for someone to turn into someone as bad as me is one bad day. And so he does all of these horrible things to Jim Gordon. He, like, cripples his daughter and, like, tortures him and does all of these horrible things, just trying to get Jim Gordon to break and be just as bad as he is. So yeah, you see a lot of that in Higgs, where he's just trying to get Sam to indulge in his revenge so that he can hold up a mirror and be like, "You're no better than me," kind of a thing.
Yeah, he wants to welcome him to his world, because he doesn't want to. It's really just like, he's clearly lonely in his worldview, and he wants to welcome people to feel the way that he feels, to and in that way, he actually cares about Sam in a gross way. But we'll probably learn more about that in a different way later. So after this, he starts saying, "I'll take the damage and the goods. I don't break that easy." Do you know what this reference is?
Well, I don't break that easy. He's referencing what Fragile said like a million times in the first game, where she's like, I'm fragile, but not that fragile.
She also says, I'll take the damage and the goods. So this is the moment where he throws the bag on her head, and strips her down to nearly naked and forces her to run with the nuclear bomb to the tar pit. And she says, "I'll take the damage and the goods. I don't break that easy."
Oh, I forgot that was that. Yeah, so he's mocking her with that. Where,
Exactly.
yes, I was wondering. I don't know why I didn't look into that more than I did. I like tried to figure out what he was saying, but I love that, the callback to the traumatic moment that he had with Fragile in the first game.
Mm-hmm. So he continues taunting her as she attacks him and smashes his head in, and then a crab walks out of his head because guess what? He's full of tar, and the tar is the medium through which these beach creatures are able to it's a portal essentially with the beach. So
it's the internet.
It's the internet. The elders of the internet know who I am, which is even more relevant for this game. Because there is an elder of the internet.
Spoilers.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yes. I know. I'm giving you a hard time.
Spoilers for 10 minutes from now.
Yeah.
All right. So back at the bridge, everyone is unconscious, and the president is there. He reveals that we're gonna get a monologue, like an evil guy monologue.
Really quick, before we get that evil guy monologue, I have one last terrible thing to say about Dollman. Is you get back on
the last one, are you sure?
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be the last time. I hate Dollman, but you get back on the ship and you start getting a bunch because you've finally connected the chiral network for all of Australia, and you start getting all of these messages on the SSS, which is like the social feed thing or whatever, the in-game social feed,
social strand system.
Yeah. And so there's a bunch of posts from like people at the different way stations that you visited of like, hooray, Sam, you did it, so glad to be connected. And Dollman futilely wonders, let me see what I wrote down. He says, Dollman futilely wonders if there's a Dollman is the best or we love Dollman post after Sam connects all of Australia. And I was like, nope, there is not. The only, and then I remembered that part in The Office where Andy posts like that banjo video to the internet, and someone posts like a comment that just says he is butt, and it like sends it into this crazy spiral. And I was like, all I want in the world is for there to just be one comment that just says Dollman is butt. He's the worst. There are no happy comments for Dollman.
Butt man. All right. Yeah, so back at the bridge, everyone is unconscious and the president is there. He reveals that he built the Ghost Mech army to empower Higgs and expedite the connection across the continent. So, he's just been lying to us this whole time.
I was like, I knew that he was lying to us. Like, I guess I didn't know, but I suspected that the president was like not being super all the way honest. But then when you connect the whole chiral network and he just sits you down and he's like, hey, you know that guy that killed your baby with a bunch of ghost mechs? That was me. I gave him to him. And it's like, what is your end game here, man? That's like, don't admit that. Like, you're not going to get him on your side after that. Like, that's it.
He says they are incapable of murder. I don't know mechanically if that means anything. It's just, they just can't murder for some reason. Maybe because it's diametrically opposed to their mission of causing void outs. And so they are programmed to not be capable of doing that. And while he's saying all of this, you see mini crabs crawling all over him and out of his mouth. Love this. Just continually makes him more creepy and unsettling. So he's not human. He plans to look for plate gates to continue connecting, plans to hold everyone in isolation in the zero void out policy.
Yeah, okay. So I had some questions on just like, what is the president?
What is he?
Well, we're going to find out in a minute, right?
Yeah, I'll discuss a little bit more, and then we can kind of like elucidate what he is.
Because that was a question I had, but I did a little bit of digging, and I feel like I have at least a moderate understanding, but we have to kind of get there first.
Yeah. So he says after through APAS and through connecting the chiral network, they have learned the true nature of the Death Stranding. As determined by APAS, it was a phenomenon to facilitate extinction events until Amelie elected to alter the natural order. It would be a system to spur life forms to connect to each other. Evolutionary stagnation leads to extinction. In aftermath, new species will emerge to form communities. Extinct species give way to evolved ones. Now it's time for humanity to move on for a new species. So they'll use the chiral verse to help humanity stay still in order for them to take over. And then he starts altering his face through various characters until he shows an old man that we know from Death Stranding 1 who pretended to die and become a BT. Do you remember this guy?
Mm-mm.
He was on the farm. And if you do an extra mission that is not required, you can go back to him, and he doesn't answer for a minute, and then a BT answers instead. And in hindsight, it turns out that was a fake message and a chirogram of a BT, because this man faked his own death and tricked you.
Oh, man.
It is
That's
a
crazy.
deep cut.
Kojima had this plan all along? That's crazy.
It's possible he just actually killed the man in the first game and then went back and retconned it. It could go either way. However,
yeah, it kind of smacks of him having a plan, I think, though.
I think it's a plan, because apparently he had kind of written this game by the time the first one was released, although he had to rewrite it. So he might have had some sense of what direction it was going. Plus, that actor whose face we're seeing here is played by Patrick Mansfield, or at least the mocap is, but it's played by Armin Shimerman. And that is the same combination that was used for Death Stranding 1. So he went out of his way for Death Stranding 1 for some completely random character to get a model with a different voice actor, which kind of tells you that he couldn't have just gotten some random old guy there either. He had some idea for him.
It's deliberate.
Yeah. And Armin Shimerman, he is a voice actor who has played in Bioshock, and he played Dr. Nefarious in Ratchet and Clank and several other things. So yeah, this guy stages death in Death Stranding 1 so that he could pretend and be off the grid for Death Stranding 2 as he went about doing all these Dr. Nefarious things for APAS 4000. And his name is Elder. Anyway, catch my breath. So they started after Sam finished the UCA. There was a void out in UCA territory where the APAS data center was, as was he. He gave up his shelter to start a new life there. 4,000 were caught in the blast, and so then it flashes back to the president's face at this moment. But their connection was not severed. And then he flashes them to the beach at this moment. He shows all the black slab servers. So this seems to be like a reference to 2001 Space Odyssey with the black monolith. All the APAS servers and the human souls were stranded on the same beach. They were subjected to a convergence. They all merged with the servers. This multitude is the company which APAS keeps. Then the visual of the servers flip to tombstones. With the servers on the beach, they can remain connected to the beach itself, allowing them to oversee and restrict movement to avoid void outs. Then the tombstones flip to bookcases, and he explains connecting and ruling over every aspect of life is their mission. APAS is also connected to gazers, so they always know where all of them are. They'll be able to control gazers. He wants complete stagnation for them to and for humans to be able to leave their mortal flesh and to transition to the eternal existence within the Chiroverse. At this point, he's reading from a book, and if you pause it, you can see it's called From Homo Sapiens to Homo Spiritualis. Although there's a typo on it, it says Spiritualis, but that's not a word, it's Spiritualis. So there's a typo. That's cool.
Like I wrote that book.
Come on, Kojima. Get it together, man.
So from Homo sapiens would be from humans to Homo spiritualis to Homo spiritual. So it's the concept of like from humans to a convergence of like a spiritual like awakening and convergence and on a higher plane. Anyway, so this entity, that the Elder, they'll watch species to prevent anyone from claiming apex predator on behalf of humans, and he thinks this will grant humans what they want.
I really like
It's a lot.
this. It's a lot of stuff. I like this idea of this kind of higher being pointing out that in the past extinction entities, or the past extinction events, that there have been like those extinction events were horrible, obviously, but then right afterwards it caused the birth of new, better life. And so that's the argument that APAS 4000 is making here, that they're saying that like, all right, we're the next step. Humans being contained within the chiral verse, that species is done. We are the next step. This extinction event needs to happen because it's what's always happened before. And so it's this very compelling argument. I feel like the best villains are the ones that have this like a cold, calculated ideology of like, and there's parts of it where you're like, I mean, that kind of makes sense, you know. That's not incorrect.
It's why Thanos worked.
Yeah, exactly. It's why Thanos was so compelling as a villain on screen.
You were going to say Thanos, weren't you?
I was.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense. It's that tracks, and a lot of those are some really good points.
Yeah,
and
but I also,
and you have to be illogical to refute them.
Yes, well, and humans are famously illogical, and that's one of the things I really love about. Maybe
Shut the hell up.
But I love this argument that the APAS 4000 is making. It's saying like, hey, this will be better for you. We're gonna like let you live in this, you know, the chiral verse, this spiritual place where you won't want for anything, but you won't be able to move or connect with people because, you know, that's part of it. And so it's this idea of like taking away agency, taking away free will, taking away autonomy, but offering the next step in evolution and offering paradise, basically, is kind of what they're saying. And it smacks of this really excellent villain that's trying to be like, I'm not the bad guy. What I'm offering you is a good thing. Why don't you want this good thing? But then it's very much human nature to be like, no, we won't sacrifice our autonomy or our ability to choose for anything. And so I love that Sam kind of claps back with that.
Yeah, it's a really cool, like, playing this part, it made me question, okay, what is actually living? Like,
yes, that's
it's which I just love I love when a game can like cause you to take some serious inventory of what you're doing with your life, and that's what this game made me do at this moment. Was, am I actually living, or am I just alive?
Are we human or are we dancer?
Dancer.
Yeah. Brandon Flowers, deep philosopher. He made me question everything in my mid-20s. No, Tucker, you're... Yeah, go on.
Brandon Flowers lives in my mom's neighborhood. So,
He's awesome.
Nice little name drop, little brag.
Yeah, I went to church with my mom and saw Brandon there. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude is talented.
You're basically famous, man.
And his kids are very talented. One of his kids sang in church, and I was like, oh, that tracks.
Yeah. Wonder where they got that from.
Really good, yeah.
So, some background here, because I never find it not amusing, but Tucker lives in Park City in the mountains where there is a lot of Utah wealth, and we like to all make fun of this because there are a lot of douchey kids up there. They're Nepo babies. And so when they complain about things, it's like, hey, my private jet, I didn't get to use the private jet this weekend. And so so I had a hissy fit about it and stuff like that. Right.
Yeah. It's like, oh no, my pool at my house, we can't swim in it because it needs some maintenance, or just ridiculous things like that.
My diamond shoes are too tight and my wallet is too big from these 50s.
I lost a penny from my loafers.
It's very much so. We hear first world problems. These are like top 1% problems.
Yeah, like reverse snobbery. That's
my maid couldn't come
fear.
in today, and now my floor's dirty. Yeah.
My maid died.
Oh my gosh. Gosh, it's so gross. Anyway, so yes, back to the point here. I love what he's make a very compelling point here where he and just to reiterate on what Tucker's saying, the elder here is offering the chance to continue living, and to humans, a lot of our greatest fear is death, and he's offering us the chance to continue living life with no fear of death. And BTs will not be an issue. You just don't have to be afraid anymore. And they talk a lot here about like travel is important, getting out, moving. And so Kojima here is writing this polemic that is basically stating his theme or his mind here, that life has no meaning if you don't get to experience it by engaging with it and engaging with others, and so you have to go and fulfill your potential. You have to go out and feel things and touch things and learn things, otherwise you aren't living.
Yeah, very reminiscent of the last few episodes of The Good Place, where it's they're living in paradise, but they're really not living. They're just in perpetual existence.
Stagnate. Yeah.
And so just, I don't know, really, really cool, really deep stuff presented in a really awesome way here.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to tackle the question now of what exactly APAS 4000 is?
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm going to give my understanding, and then I'm going to let Shan give his probably much more detailed understanding.
I don't know.
So
I didn't think about this one too hard.
Okay, so APAS, this 4,000 souls were in a joint tragedy, all died, and they're forced to share a beach, and there was some type of convergence that brought them together. And that's APAS. It is, rather than it being, what did it say at the beginning of the game? It was like an algorithm or something that could predict human behavior or whatever. It was just the early stages of APAS trying to exert control, but it was 4,000. It was AI, yeah. So it was 4,000 souls of dead people who have merged together into one consciousness, and they're being projected as the president, which is why he was able to flip through all of those faces and land on different people. It's because it is 4,000 souls, 4,000 people's worth of knowledge contained into one person. And so APAS 4000 believes themselves to be the next form of human evolution, and is thus offering Sam this deal and this plan. Am I right on this? That was my understanding of what this entity is.
You actually, I hadn't thought about this enough. You actually nailed it. That actually is correct, and I hadn't put it into words as well as you did.
Everybody, shut up for a second. I just got an unironic compliment from Shan about a lore point concerning Death Stranding, a thing that he didn't consider. Everybody write it down. I'm smarter than Shan.
Well, I had so much to write down. It was 5 episodes, and you're right. I forgot to think about this.
I was on this one thing. Yeah, I did it. It was me.
No, so you think about after all that lore or all that exposition that he goes through, he talks about how he flips through that old man's face, played by Patrick Mansfield. And that guy said he was on the farm and he pretends to be dead, but like that guy is he was one of 4,000 that was captured in that blast, and all of those 4,000 end up converging. So that is an amalgamated Ka, or that is from the beach. So he is just an enlightened soul. Plus they had the servers also. So they now have the servers on the beach that have converged with these souls that now have the full understanding of the chiral verse. And so it now is a being that has the understanding of everything merged into its own. So it is an evolution. And they want to allow humans to stagnate so that they can be the next thing that inherits the earth.
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that's where I got lost, is like, how are they going to inherit the earth? There's like one of them.
No, he
Well,
is
maybe
everything. He is all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he can keep voiding people out. He can keep making more of them.
Yeah, either adding to their singular
Well, I
beach,
guess they have
or
zero
creating,
void out policy. But
or creating other entities like this one. I guess no, but yeah, the zero void out policy.
As
Yeah,
people
so it's like
continue
they
dying,
got-
he can continue making.
They have control over the gazer BTs, so they could pull people to the beach without void outs, correct?
Yeah.
So they could merge people to their consciousness or create separate consciousnesses of amalgamated souls.
You know,
that way,
that
couldn't
makes
they?
sense. Yeah, it's the Borg from Star Trek.
It's the Borg, yeah, the hive mind, yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. All right. Thank you. That was awesome, Eric. Thank you. All right.
I'm really
but guess
smart.
what? No, says Charlie / Die Hardman.
This is my favorite part of the whole thing.
This
I'm
is
so excited to talk about this.
okay. This is
So-
the part where I paused the game, sent Shannon a screenshot, and was just like, "What the hell is happening?" Eric,
Didn't I
got
do
to
the
that
exact
point.
same thing?
Eric also did the exact
Yeah.
same thing.
I was so completely taken aback by the goings on of this part that I stopped, exactly like Tucker said, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?"
Okay,
You
so
know,
I'm gonna.
I think I also texted you guys. I was like, I am at, like, I got there first, and I think I was texting you, but I couldn't tell you what I was seeing. I was like, I'm at the most awesome what the hell moment of the game.
I love that all three of us had basically the same reaction at this, to just be like, "What is happening? I love this." Yeah,
I have to talk to somebody.
Yeah, I really think that we need to throw just a short clip in the pod of this scene so people can understand how crazy it is.
we're gonna be quiet for a minute. Put a pin here, and if Emmerly, if you could do that, that would
Well,
just be
we can't
the
get
best.
copyright stricken.
No, okay, fine, never mind. But we'll explain it in great detail.
Yeah.
Eric,
All right.
paint a picture for us.
Yeah. So emerging from the tar is the mannequin of Charlie, and he goes into puppet mode, and then he starts doing this interpretive dance like in
come on.
sync.
Yeah, okay.
What?
I was gonna say puppet mode of just think bye of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye to a
Yeah.
piano rendition of BB's song, and then the tombstones around him start doing a light show. And
Because
then
of course they do. Yeah.
And then after some flashing of the lights, it turns into Die Hardman, and he continues doing this interpretive dance with his shirt off, but covered in tar. And you also see like some of the white strand puppet strings around him. So we kind of know definitively it's supposed to denote it's a puppet or from the... Anyway.
I do feel like it's also important to point out that he's singing BB's song the whole time while he dances.
Very important.
And I will hold you. It's like a pop version of it. And he's
there's a lot of
this. We're not doing it justice. He's doing this this just amazing like high energy pop dance, like interpretive, and then it kind of pop dancing, and then interpretive again. But he's singing the whole time. And
he's in the tightest spandex possible.
And he's in the tightest spandex, because at first it's the mannequin Charlie, and then it turns into Die Hardman, who is shirtless and wearing like really tight pants and just cutting a rug, singing a song. It's probably the weirdest thing I've ever seen in a video game up to this point, because the game's not over yet. But I was so completely tickled by this. I just was like, what am I watching? I love every second of this.
And
why are there not more games like this?
Yeah. It is my personal opinion this could be referencing something like Guardians of the Galaxy, where Star-Lord does a dance to distract the enemy at the end with a dance because it has the same effect. He's distracting the president so that he can have an edge on him.
That's the best part, is because the president has just got done with like giving this plan about like how we're gonna subjugate humans and whatever. Like we're the next step in evolution. It's your turn to be done. Let us take over. Basically like a hostile takeover of Earth. Like, you're done. It's our time now. And Charlie just goes, no, and then performs a dance for like 2.5 minutes while neither the president or Sam says a word.
And he's like, what are you doing?
So completely gobsmacked by like what is happening in front of them. And then Die Hardman finishes his dance. He goes back into the puppet pose, And then the president sits there with his mouth agape for a second and then goes, "Just who's pulling your strings?" And I paused the game and just like let out a big belly laugh for a minute because I completely forgot that Sam and the president were even there. And and it just pans the idea that they just sat there like, just politely like clasping their hands watching Die Hardman do his fantastic dance. And then when he was done, they just let him finish because they were like, "I don't know. Do you know, is he here with you? He's not, I don't know what's going on. Do you know what's going on?" Like, it's so funny in such a serious moment. But for some reason, it felt like it fit. And I couldn't tell you why.
So apparently I just saw this morning. There is an Easter egg somewhere in the game. Like, I think it's like a dream that you can have as Sam, where you see Charlie in the hallway doing this dance. He's practicing for this moment. Did you actually see it?
I didn't actually see it. I had to look it up too because I don't remember where I heard about it, but I was like, I didn't, and I looked it up. But yeah, there's a part where you like, it's either a dream or you like wake up in the middle of the night and Charlie is practicing this same dance like in the hallway. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love that so much. The fact that he's just like, all right, and when the president comes out and then I got to get my steps right. I got to make sure, and it's not going to work if I don't do the dance. I got to practice. So funny.
So Charlie now Die Hardman now has a tear tattoo. Do you have any idea why he has this? Because in my personal opinion is that maybe it's to symbolize and remember the mistakes he made from Death Stranding 1, but to compartmentalize, move on, but not forget them.
It's to show that he killed someone in prison.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. That's it.
It could be that he
is it filled in or not? That's
every tear that he is.
Well, yeah, I was wondering because it's not just like a little teardrop. It's like it looks like when
like
people
a tar
bleed
tear.
chiral from the eyes, or like
just like
liquid chirality. Yeah.
But like he killed Cliff. Well, technically,
indirectly,
did, but,
yeah.
But we keep saying that Cliff did, and Cliff always had those chiral tears, and so I didn't know if it was like a reference to Cliff and to remember him and something.
That's kind of the vibe I got. I did think it had something to do with Cliff because they were so close in the first game. That was my thought, is maybe something like that, but I wasn't 100% sure what it was either. So
yeah. Die Hardman has a huge personality shift in this game. I didn't know if I was okay with it. I am.
I love it.
I love him.
This is who he should have been in the first game.
For the record, he was a pussy in the first game, and I didn't love it. But in this game, love his personality. I just didn't know if it made sense for him to have changed so much.
You know what? I can suspend my disbelief for this one. I don't give a flying fart if it makes sense. I love this version of Die Hardman. I think I have in my notes like 3 different times. Man, Die Hardman's a badass in this game. I love him
in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in our first episode, we were talking about when you're choosing a voice for Charlie. And I went through every other voice. Die Hardman was at the very bottom of my list. If this version of Die Hardman was in the first game, that would have been my very first pick.
Yeah.
Because
better than every other character in the first game. Yeah, I love this version of Die Hardman so much.
Yeah. By the way, super obvious in hindsight why they force you to pick Die Hardman as the voice, because it actually is Die Hardman. So when you do the missions after words, you want it to still be his voice. I had to think if that was a spoiler as I was saying it. No, we know that now.
There's post story content.
Yeah, post story content. Now we know it's him, so yeah, it can continue being him. No, that's fair for me to say. Anyway, episode 13, Die Hard. After redesigning
what? Sorry, you're right. No. You were right. Sorry, go ahead.
After redesigning the Cupid, he contacted his friend Tarman. They converted the deep tar hunting vessel. He talks to the camera. You probably connected the dots already, which nobody had, but it's the Die Hardman's vessel. Nobody had connected those dots.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't think for even a single moment about what DHV stood for. I was like, it's a random... I don't know why. Well, I just thought it was a random acronym. Yeah. I know, but deep tar vessel... I guess those are the same. It's like a deep tar hunting vessel. I was like, DHV, yeah. But nope, Die Hardman vessel. You sneaky man, Kojima.
though, I hinted at this earlier when we talked about the HMS, like His Majesty or Her Majesty's ship. How all of those monikers for a ship always reference that the ship belongs to somebody, to a magistrate or something. Yeah, DHV in this instance is saying that it's a ship that belongs to Die Hardman. So he actually did it on purpose.
I love it. Sneaky, sneaky. Well, and Die Hardman was literally being sneaky because you find out that he's been on the ship the whole time. And I just love the idea that he's like hiding behind a corner, and then and then Sam comes back after delivering. He's like, "Oh, I got just hide in a closet."
Yeah. What is it for the United States? The USS.
USS.
Yeah. Yeah. So he actually knew the intended use for those acronyms, and he subverted that by using deep tar hunting vessel, but he was using it for the right reason. I love that he tricked us with that.
Super sneaky.
Anyway, so he says Lochna found out about the Cupid for controlling people, so Die Hardman convinced her to take on the job anyway. She built a Cupid that could facilitate connections and sever their systems and the dead. So Die Hardman walks around and starts waking everybody up because the president had trapped them in an illusion.
Yeah, well, because the president, APAS, had commissioned Lochna to create a Cupid that would stagnate and separate humanity. And when Lochna was realized what that was, she's like, no. And Die Hardman's like, I got a plan. Do it anyways. Which is I love that there's this hyper intelligent collective mind, merging of 4,000 souls, and Die Hardman outplayed them. I love that.
Yeah. The saddest thing in this game for me was that Lochna wasn't in it, because I am infatuated with Margaret Qualley, especially after watching her music video from Spike Jonze. She has just got this chaotic energy about her that is hypnotizing and mesmerizing, but that's okay. They couldn't get her back. Whatever. I'll move on, but
she's too famous now. It's too expensive. Yeah, the budget was already through
she's
the
too
roof.
Famous, or she's too expensive?
Both. Famous people cost a lot of money to cast. Yeah.
All right. So as he's explaining all of this, the president starts crying tar, and he threatens that they'll never escape the Death Stranding now. They're sacrificing flesh and freedom. What's his face? Die Hardman explains that sacrificing flesh and freedom is a non-starter, which is it's very human, but it also feels very American badass to say. It's yeah, that is a non-starter because we're Americans. Fuck you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the president completely unravels until Die Hardman blips him away. And so he's been severed by the Cupid. That's really what was happening. They had connected the Cupid all around, and so they could, as they had just explained, with the flip of a switch, sever the connection of the beach and so he got blipped out of existence.
Played himself.
Yeah.
Dummy.
All right, so after this, Big Red reappears. He pulls in Tar into the ship, and tentacles grab Tomorrow. She chrysalises herself.
Crystallizes,
yeah, for protection. Fragile's blue hands flip off Big Red. For some reason, that's cooler than her just flipping off Big Red with her own hands.
It's I'm not even going to do it with my real hands. You don't deserve it.
Yeah. Big Red shushes them, unzips the face, and reveals the no mask from Higgs, and then says, live broadcasting from the beach. So this is Higgs, right? So this explains what Higgs meant when he said, "You're just like me," to the mech when it was Dead Man. Yeah. Is that this is a ghost mech, and he realized it was a ghost mech because Higgs was a ghost mech, and he realized that he was surprised, and now he's using Big Red himself.
Do you think this might be like a duh, obviously, Eric. So Higgs's Ka is inhabiting the ghost mech and controlling it that way. Dead Man's Ka is inhabiting Big Red and controlling it that way. Do all of the ghost mechs that you come across, do you think that they are being controlled by individual BTs or Kas, or is it Higgs exerting control over all of them?
No, those are all Kas.
Oh man, that just clicked for me. I don't know why that didn't. I mean, that's a cool thought. I like that a lot. It's like a physical manifestation of a BT, kind of.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like that a lot because they're ghost mechs. Obviously, they're controlled by literal ghosts.
Yeah, from what I had construed is that he had convinced an army of hunter BTs to do his bidding and had given them ghost mechs to carry it out.
I'm going to do some more research on that, but that totally makes sense. I like that idea.
Yeah, I think it tracks with Higgs' influence from the first game. It's just now they're in a different vessel.
Well, you also see there are ghost mechs that carry sarcophaguses on their back full of tar. And when they are nearly dead, they'll drop their sarcophagus of tar on the ground, and that provides a portal of tar from the seam. So then hunter BTs can spill into the world. So I think that is just more proof of like these hunters and these BTs are all just doing his bidding. And so the ghost mechs are the BTs, but also the hunters are the BTs, and they're and it's just another manifestation of it.
Awesome. I like when I have realizations like while we're recording. That's yeah.
Yeah. All right, so he says he orchestrated all of this as payback for Amelie. He wants to open her beach to restart the Death Stranding. He says all he needs was a catalyst with a connection to Amelie, and tomorrow is an extinction entity, and says it's Sam's daughter. Lots of revelation right there. So he wasn't just doing it to be sadistic and just because he wants to live for fear, and that was actually a subversion. He's has the same motivation he had from the first game. He wants the last stranding.
I thought that was an awesome, like, because you think that Higgs is going through this like kind of character growth or character de-evolution kind of, where he's like, before he had a goal and an objective, it's like, I have a greater purpose. I'm serving this thing that I believe is right to bring about the last stranding. And then in this game, you think that you're seeing a man who failed in his previous goal and now he just wants blood. But then this comes around and he's just like, gotcha, I'm still trying to cause the last stranding. And I just love the idea of like how unpredictable Higgs is. Even when he's being predictable, he's doing it unpredictably. It's like, I just think he's a fantastic villain, and I love everything that he's in.
Well, and it's so gross, but it's also just so petty and infantile, right? Like, I love that he's just so one-dimensional in his antagonism. And yeah, it actually makes him one of the most compelling and fun antagonists I've ever seen. But anyway, so tomorrow's an extinction entity. Should we dissect that? Because that is big.
Well, we've talked earlier about how chronobiotes are directly tied to extinction entities, and we've seen them hanging out a lot with tomorrow. So it's like,
yes.
I feel like it's something I should have picked up on sooner and just didn't.
So when we first saw tomorrow in Nirvana, we saw the chronobiotes floating around her head. That was our first sign that she was an extinction entity. They also float all around the DHV Magellan. Maybe they're hanging out around her because of her. We never saw her belly button. That should have been a clue. Yeah. She probably has an umbilical cord that's connected to the beach. Yeah. Tucker?
Oh yeah, so I just wanted to ask you guys, do you think she is a replacement EE for Amelie?
Yeah.
Or is it a new EE for?
I think
because Amelie is trapped on her beach. Her beach is severed from everything, right? So she is no longer a viable option for an extinction entity.
Nature's
I think there's one at a time.
EE.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one extinction entity dies, but the big but the extinction event didn't happen. It's like, well, this still has to happen. So
Here's another one.
The microbes facilitate the creation of a new one.
Extinction will find a way.
Extinction finds a way. That's exactly right.
It was a
Was
really
that Jeff
good
Goldblum?
And it's such a good subversion of that quote. I love that. Extinction finds a way.
I feel like that needs to be a t-shirt.
Can we please make that a Death Stranding t-shirt for our merch if we
Extinction.
can ever get our numbers?
It's just Jeff Goldblum dressed up like a porter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this has to be a thing. All right. And then it's Sam's daughter. I don't know. That's just more narrative that will get unraveled as we go. So we don't have to talk too much about that. Right?
I mean, okay, so this feels like it should be a bigger reveal than it actually hits in the game.
Mm-hmm. That's how I felt.
It was just like oh, okay, cool. I don't know what to do with that information. Let's move on.
Yeah, and I feel like they hit you with this big reveal, and then right after, Die Hardman, I think, or Fragile is like, well, you know, as a porter for Bridges, you provided sperm samples, so that's probably where she came from. And in my brain, I was like, I don't know, the game's been showing me a lot of stuff with Lucy and Neil. Like, I kind of feel like maybe that's where it came from, but
yeah, that's how I felt. It's like, well, we just found out he has another daughter, so. I don't know. I'm connecting a lot of dots.
It doesn't
here.
make narrative sense for this to be a different daughter, and so that and I mean, I don't want to talk too much about it now because I feel like we'll get to the point where because I feel like this was like a halfway reveal, and then they reveal more stuff about this kind of thing later. But I will say that I was pretty excited when this happened because the theory that I've been being very cryptic about, this ties into that, and I felt very clever and vindicated. It's like, okay, well, I think I know where this is going, but I won't say anything in case you don't because we're getting there.
Yeah. All right. So I think it's Tarman. He says here that she's in cryptobiosis. So guess what? She's a cryptobio, basically. Does that make sense? How do I mean? So do you know... what are they called? You know what cryptobiotes are based on? What is that little thing called?
The tardigrades.
Tardigrades.
Yeah.
So tardigrades go into cryptobiosis, and that is the stasis by which they can survive extreme cold, extreme heat, extremes like the vacuum of space and all things. So when she's in cryptobiosis, that is because she's in her chrysalis. That is her stasis mode by which she can't be hurt by anything. And so we have been learning throughout this entire game the life cycle of cryptobiotes, how they become necrobiotes, how they become chronobiotes, how they jump into the tar when they become necrobiotes, how they fuse with these chiral microbes to become chronobiotes. We are finding out she goes through all of those same cycles. So I think if we learn about cryptobiotes, we learn about how extinction entities work.
I was just going to say, when Amelie, I guess when Bridget faced a potential deathly experience for her, a dangerous situation when she got cancer, that's what split her Ka and her Ha. So not exactly like a chrono, what did you say? The chronobiosis?
Cryptobiosis.
Not exactly cryptobiosis, but another kind of defense mechanism to preserve her Ka as an extinction entity.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
But then the other point I was going to make is like if you dig into the lore in the logs and stuff, we find out. And there's also like a mission where you take necrobiotes to some researcher, and they talk a little bit about necrobiotes. And I think I have it written down to talk about in our backlog of lore for our bonus episode. But necrobiotes they essentially at some point in their life cycle they just jump into the tar and or cryptobiotes jump into the tar and then they get covered in tar and then they become necrobiotes or something like that. Guess what? That is also what Tomorrow does. She jumps into the tar. She becomes a dark Tomorrow, and then she can secrete that like acidic tar, like a necrobiote. So she's a cryptobiote. That's what she is.
Well,
And she also eats them like a crazy
It's the
person.
only thing that she would eat, yeah, when she first came from the land of the dead. I like that a lot. I hadn't noticed those parallels before, but it makes sense that extinction entities would be closely tied to cryptobiotes, chronobiotes, and that life cycle, that they would mirror that, or that rather the cryptobiotes would mirror the extinction entities.
Yeah, I think cryptobiotes appeared around when the Death Stranding started, and with Timefall is when they appear. So this is also tied to her existence in some way. So anyway, let's keep that in mind, see if we can figure out other ways that that's tied to her existence. So, so we find out that Sam was obligated to provide sperm samples to Bridges as a member with Dooms, which, sure, they could have laid that much earlier in the game if they wanted us to believe that misdirection.
Yeah, that's what this is, hand waving.
Well, I thought you were saying, Tucker's over here waving, and I thought he was saying goodbye, and I was like, we're not done, man. Like,
yeah. All right, so Harmon says Higgs was operating out of his own beach, assuming ghost mechs and such. Hartman already mapped his beach, though, and he wasn't there. So which beach was he on? Fragile explains Higgs used Amelie's Kipu, so we noticed that he was wearing that this entire game. They need something also connected to her, so we have to head back to Sam's shelter because we don't have we don't have anything yet. Yeah, which is not great, but
it's not good. It's not fun.
I
will say,
really
I do
hurts.
like how this kind of mirrors events from the first game. When you play through the first game, you go all the way across America, you connect everything, and then you have to go back before the final confrontation. It's like, hey, Fragile can't jump you for convenient plot reasons. You have to walk all the way back across America. And you kind of have to do the same thing for Australia. But Australia, they've had you kind of connect things in sort of like a loop. And so if you want to take a slightly more rocky path, you can just sort of cut along the bottom, which is what I did, because I was like, I haven't seen this part of the continent yet. I want to do that. But I like that it makes you kind of trek back to where you started. Mm-hmm. It has this kind of nice cathartic, like, look at where I've been kind of a feeling.
Well, I think this is very important for great storytelling, especially one of such a big journey, because it's the hero's journey. It's important to return to where you came from so that you see the contrast of where you started to where you've and how you've changed in that journey. When you get there, you're like, oh shoot, yeah, that's how I've changed, and this is how much it hurts.
Yep.
Anyway, so we get to run all the way back across. We get to go back through the plate gate. And when we get into Mexico, we see that the seam has seemingly spilled into the world, but it looks like it's an illusion because they're not actually underwater. And it's also a really cool effect because we see chiralium particles fill the air, and it's raining. So great effect.
Just
Caustics on the ground.
Well, yeah, so there's the water caustics on the ground. And so I see that and I immediately look up and I see that it's like, instead of a sky, it's an ocean. And I was like, that's awesome. It's a very literal, like, the world tearing apart literally at the seams, where you're able to see the water from the beaches and it's floating above you and the particles are floating up towards that. The rain is coming down. And so it's this mirror, this inverse of how the connection between our world and the world of the dead usually works. And I love that imagery. I thought it was very clever. And then immediately afterwards, Dollman ruined it for me. And he's like, look at the sky. It's bad things are happening. It's like, really, Dollman? I know. Bad things are happening. I can tell. I've got eyes.
And the sky is an ocean. That doesn't mean good.
Oh, really? Is it Dollman? And I want to ask you guys a question. I noticed one thing, and I don't know if it was just me or if this is something that actually happened. But so we know that physics do wonky things when overlapping with like the world of the living and then the beaches. The physics can be inverted. It causes Sam to float when he connects the Kipu. And I thought I felt like gravity was a little bit lower in Mexico. When I would jump and double jump, it felt like it was longer. I had a couple of times where I would do a double jump and then I'd land and Sam would get hurt because he was like a really high jump. And I don't know if that was all in my head, or did you guys experience that? Did gravity seem lower to you?
So my vehicle was just packed full of the like anti-gravity things.
Yeah.
And so I just attribute it to that, but
I don't know. It seemed that way to me, and I thought it was like, if so, that's a super cool little detail that when the worlds are bleeding together, gravity would be a little wonky.
Did you not? I mean, maybe you need a doll man to tell you, hey, maybe the gravity is a little bit different.
Blah, 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 blah. No,
maybe you should try jumping and you would go farther.
I enjoyed that moment so much more because it was a little nugget of lore that I felt and experienced myself, and Dollman didn't feel the need to shove it down my throat.
Yeah.
Stupid Dollman.
So definitely with like the chiralium particles blanketing the air, this seems to be... especially like how we've seen this before is like in the second Nirvana level, it just seems like it's an overlap, right? Like we're not actually seeing the seam bleed into this world. It seems like it's just overlaying this world, similar to how when we go through the plate gate, we saw kind of two worlds over the top of each other. I think that's what's going on here. It's not the world in our world, it's the world over the top of our world. Does that make sense? Maybe.
I mean,
you think we're actually in the seam?
No, I don't think that we're in the seam, but I think that the way that it seemed to me is that there was
the reason I don't think we're in the
convergence.
Yeah, the reason I don't think we're in the seam is because when we are in the seam, we can actually swim around. Like when you die and you're repatriating, you can swim.
Well, no, and what I was thinking is that you can those were the waters of the seam above us,
right?
And so I think we're saying the same thing with different words. So I think that I think we're in agreement. I think we're just
as the tiebreaker, I think you guys are saying the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. Definitively, Tucker. Yeah. Put it to rest.
All right. Well, on the way back to your shelter, you find a giant crab BT. So that thing is really cool.
So cool. And do you know what happens the moment you start fighting him? Dollman goes, hey, the giant glowing spots on its legs are weak spots. And I go, no shit, Dollman. I knew that.
I know how to eat crabs. That's probably how I'm going to kill it, too.
Just let me do one thing, man.
By the way, I had my first crab in North Carolina last month with Eric, and it was delicious.
I can't believe you've never had crab before.
What? I hadn't had real crab. I've had imitation
fresh
crab.
We went to the beach and we got it at this restaurant on the shore. Basically, it's delicious.
Yeah, I had it. Yeah, cracked it up wide open. It was amazing.
You just had the fake crab in some sushi.
Yeah, exactly. That's all I had.
Yeah. Frozen crab cakes and
I also
toss them in the microwave.
Lobster.
Good to go. Yeah.
Lot microwaving not the best way to cook crab.
Yeah.
Lobster's also good. I think crab is way better though. I love me some good crab. It's my favorite food.
Yeah. All right, so Tarman says they've constructed the servers on the beach by predicting a point where the tar currents intersected with the beach and dispatched cargo ships with necessary materials. After he tells you this, you return to the shelter. There's a bunch of Lou flashbacks. You grab a photo, and there's an apparition of Amelie holding a baby. It could be you, it could be Lou. Upon leaving, everything reappears as a disaster area. So this scene sucks ass.
Is this you're talking about back at Sam's shelter?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. The flashbacks you go through, and you hallucinate Lou playing, being a baby.
Every time the camera pans around your back, there's a new Lou.
So I had a couple of things that I wanted to talk about here. The first thing is that you walk into the shelter and then you see Lou in her high chair just hunched over, and I was like, is that baby dead? That was my first thought, was that so I have three things. So while you're coming up to this, on your trek here, you keep getting messages on the SSS from someone signing them as H. and it's like pictures on Sam's photo wall of Sam and Lou. It's like taking a picture of a picture that's hanging on a wall. And then they say little things that are like entries from Sam's journal. And so there was one that like a message that Sam, and it's Higgs, right? Like the H, it's signed H. Higgs is at your shelter and he's taking pictures and sending them to you because Higgs is a turd. Did you guys experience that? Did you check those messages while you were?
I didn't look at them, no.
Super cool. You should check them out. They're cool messages. But one of them is it's a picture of Lou like standing up with that little like a walker pushing thing that she can like pull up on and walk with.
When she's being a little porter.
It's so freaking cute. And then there's a journal entry from Sam, and I'm just going to read it. It says, I'll never forget this day. Lou stood up for the first time. Kids growing up so fast. I'm expecting first steps before long. I can't wait to go for a little stroll together. What a moment that will be. And like, for a man whose whole life is carrying packages on his back and walking great distances, to be raising a child and watching her getting ready to take her first steps, and then to have that taken from him, of him like this hopeful version of Sam saying like, oh, I can't wait to go for a stroll with her, and then having Lou's potential snuffed out before he could experience that. It was gut-wrenching as I'm just like walking towards the shelter with this music playing and Higgs is taunting us with happy memories of Lou. I was diabolical and worked exactly the way Higgs wanted it to. It devastated me. Like, it just broke me. This was one of the moments, I feel like the last like few hours of this game, I was just kind of in and out of tears. And this is one of the moments that really got me. Like, it just like, I don't have words to explain it. It really, really got me.
Mm. Yeah, we're about to have our second kid in 4-ish weeks, and
oh my gosh, that's so soon.
Yeah,
I forgot it was so soon. That's so exciting.
Yeah. And so something hormonal is happening to my wife where she feels the urge to go back through baby pictures of our first kid, and
well, she's a cute kid, so that
she's
makes sense.
Very cute. She's 3.5 right now. And she's the cutest, smartest kid that I've ever met. But it's like, now she's going through pictures of when she was like 6 months to a year and a half old, going through all of those firsts. And it's kind of heartbreaking in one way to be like, these are memories that happened once, and like, I don't get them again with her, but I get one more chance at that with another kid, and then that's it. And like, so it reminded me I can't take it for granted on the next kid. But then I was also thinking of Death Stranding with this scene, and just like, even though like in the game it's more of just like a story and a character that you only partially know, because I have those moments myself, I'm able to put myself in his place, and it just makes this whole scene just like life shattering and painful beyond all belief. It's like, if this really happened to me, I would lose my shit. I would go. It reminds me in like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. She's like, I've literally had this dog for 24 hours, and if anything happened to it, I would kill everyone in this room and myself. Right? And then myself, yeah. It's like once you have. Like, I didn't even know I wanted a kid before I had one, and I was completely ambivalent. And then by the time I had one, I was like, oh, this has changed me, and this kid is my entire life, and I am emotionally deeper a changed person that, and this it completely changes like your composition as a human being, and I don't know, to have that robbed from him. Through Higgs, I just wanted to scratch his eyes out. I don't know. It's bad.
It awakens these just like, I don't know, just these. Well, and we're all girl dads, right? Like, we all have daughters. Yeah. And so the fact that Sam has a daughter that was killed as an infant is like, I feel like probably resonates with the three of us particularly hard. You know?
Yeah, my daughter was about the same age as Lou, and so it was just very real. Of just like really easy to imagine, like, oh, like Lou is at the exact same stage my daughter's at, and I would, yeah, just tears and anger and tears and then more anger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I feel like I want to call out the artistic way that these scenes were directed, where you interact with like memories of Lou in Sam's shelter. So there's several different ones where so at first Sam walks in and he picks up Lou from the high chair and puts her down in her bed, and then you see that it's really just a teddy bear. So you see Sam sees and touches and interacts with this memory of Lou. And then there's another one where Lou is sitting there and she's playing with blocks. You go and you play blocks for a second and then knock them over. And then the next one, there's like some ticks on the doorway where it's like measuring height. And Sam goes and he places his hand, and then you see Lou's hands reach up and kind of grasp his hands as he's like doing that. Like
BT hands?
Yeah, like BT hands, but all you see is her hands. And then in the last one, you hear her kind of, like, you see walking with that little walker thing, and you hear her like running towards you, and you hear her giggling, but then when you look down, she's not there. And so each one of these interactions, Lou is becoming progressively less present in them. Sam picks her up and holds her in the first one, and then he sits next to her and plays with her in the other one, and then in the third one you just see her hands, and then in the fourth one you don't see her at all. And so it's the way that they're framing this artistically is showing Sam revisiting these memories, but also coming to grips with the fact that Lou is not here, that she's gone. And it's so well directed, and it gets that point across without Dollman having to tell you what's going on. It just shows you what's happening, and it lets you feel what's happening. It lets you understand it based on how the scene is shot and framed. I think it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. All right, so back at the DHV Magellan, they need to have an unbreakable bond to be able to go to this specific beach. So Fragile goes in for a kiss with Sam. I didn't actually see this coming. I didn't feel the chemistry as it was needed for this to happen in this moment. But after it happened, I was like, you know what? I'm okay with it.
It was also a pretty compelling kiss. I feel like it's hard to make digital characters kissing look not insane. And I feel like, yeah. And I feel like The Last of Us Part 2 and this game are the only two times where I've seen people kiss in a video game that looked like people.
That's
and
right.
not like weird monsters mashing their mouths together.
Yeah, so it was actually this moment in the game where I realized I can't hate Fragile for what happened to Lou, because Sam doesn't hold it against her, and I need to be in his shoes. Like if he's in love with her, if he loves her despite what happened to Lou, this proves that he never even considered for a second that what happened to Lou was her fault. Then I can't feel that way.
Yeah, I progressively throughout the story, I felt a softening towards Fragile. Like right at the beginning, I was really mad at her, and so in this moment, I felt like where I was not expecting the kiss. I felt like it was earned, and I felt like it made sense for where Sam and Fragile were emotionally, and I started feeling less resentment towards Fragile, which I think is I feel like I went through like actual stages of grief, sort of, where it was like I was angry at Fragile for a long time, but then as the story went on, as I understood more of what was going on and came to accept like what was happening in the game, my anger for Fragile kind of went away, and I was like, I mean, she did her best. It's not like she did it on purpose, you know? So I feel similarly, where I felt a gradual softening for Fragile over the course of the game.
When they start kissing, the seam appears because they're doing a jump to the beach. So this is probably visually what this would look like whenever they jump. We only ever see the world version of them jumping between one place and the other. We see at this moment, Fragile is crying. So this doesn't seem to be a chiral allergy version
both
of crying.
eyes.
She's just actually crying, and it's her just absolutely devastated to realize that it's being reciprocated, because she realizes that Sam, she hasn't lost him for her mistake, and this is the moment she finally knows that. As she has been punishing herself, beating herself up the entire game, and she realized, wait, he's still actually cared. She's been in love with him for a long time, and when he kisses her back, she's like, oh, I haven't lost him for what I did. I can maybe forgive myself.
Yeah, fragile crying was where she started to redeem herself for me. Was just like, yeah, there's just, yeah, she hasn't made light of the situation. She blames herself so much, and then to finally have Sam, I guess, in Sam's own way, reciprocate is, I think, a way of Sam saying, I forgive you to Fragile.
Right.
As well as a romantic feeling.
Yeah. So in this scene, we see this new scene where, we see the whole gang there. We see Die Hardman holding his breath for some reason, even though that doesn't seem to always be necessary when you're in the scene. I think he's just doing it comically.
Well, I mean, he doesn't have dooms.
Oh my gosh, you're so smart.
Aaron, you're the smartest person I know.
Thank you.
You are the reigning authority on
That
Death
is
Stranding.
that is so subtle.
Yeah. I'm really smart, you guys. Die Hardman was the only one in that group that doesn't have dooms, except for I'm not sure about Tarman's son because he's there for some reason. But he
Doesn't
is.
he have?
I said I don't remember. I'm not sure, but I know that that Die Hardman does not have dooms, and so he's holding. And so that was how I understood that is he has to hold his breath in the scene because he's not a doom sufferer.
Gosh, I love that. Dang it.
Thank you.
Dang it. I'm so mad when I don't notice things, but other people get it before.
Well, that's why we talk about them together, so that we can all notice them, right?
Yeah, it's
Very
also
You can't know all of it, Shan.
I know,
you
but
do
I'm so
98%
happy
of the work. You got to let me do
So
something
happy,
sometimes.
So happy for you. So proud of you.
Thank you.
So we see Lochna, Malingen, Dahlman, Rainey, Tarman, and his son, with Tarman's hand attached to his arm, Hartman, and Deadman. Then yes, go on, Eric.
I had a question about. I was unclear about this. Why are the people who are not physically on the Magellan there? Why are Lochna and Malingen there? Why is Tarman's son there?
Because they are all metaphysically connected.
Okay,
So
I thought that it was something like that, but I was wondering if there was a bigger reason
They're right
that you guys observed. They're right here in my heart.
This is there are so many liminal spaces in this game. This is like a metaphysical space that exists out. It is like a liminal space on the way to a liminal space where they all kind of exist together. And that's why we get Malingen and Lochna together. Like, that shouldn't technically happen. They share a beach, but they don't share a beach with everyone else. Like, this is a special place where they are. It is to represent that they are spiritually connected.
Okay.
And this is
I can buy that.
This is also a very specific, an important place for us to come back to later in the game to explain something else that has happened. But I'll get to that later. Anyway, so the camera then zooms into Sam's blue mouth, and we see a blue BB with tar tears that coughs up the DHV Magellan. The
So
baby goes cross-eyed, which is very cute. And this, so this is symbolic, right? We have long determined that whenever the BB is in his throat, it's a symbolic BB, because he has since lost Lou and all of that. And the BB just represents a bridging between the seam and the real world. So the symbolic BB is bridging them to the specific Amelie adjacent beach through Sam. So they are jumping with their jointed dooms into this liminal space. Then they are going through Sam, through his bridge baby, which is, and so he is the one that is able to connect to Amelie. And so in that space, they are now connecting through Sam and then coming back out symbolically with that DHV Magellan back out into the beach that they end up in. So that's what that whole sequence is supposed to represent. It is very convoluted, but that's what it represents.
I was going to say, I think that's the conclusion I came to, but with less steps. Like I was like, Sam is connected to Amelie. They're going through his mouth. That's where the Magellan came out of it. And that's about as far as I went with that. Like, but yeah.
Yeah.
I did love the imagery of that. I love the Magellan, the DHV Magellan popping out of the BB's mouth, and it goes cross-eyed to look at it. It's super cute. And then it flies out of Sam's mouth. Yeah.
Well, I just love the thought of like Kojima while he's writing this is like, well, let's see, they have to go there through Sam, and they all have to go there together, and Sam is the only one that is actually connected to Amelie. So there's only, like, lore-wise, there's only one way you can represent this based on how he's established it, and it's this way. Like, the DHV Magellan coming through the BB mouth, that is an extra step of interpretation that didn't have to happen. But everything else, everything else is like well established within his, within the rules of his lore that he has to do, and just like, so for him, it's like he didn't have to like brainstorm and try to figure all this out. It's like there's only one way I have to do this. Like,
he's like, yeah,
he just knows how to represent
this. Yeah.
But for us, we just like we watch this and we're like, what the hell did I just watch?
I don't know, like the fourth coolest scene in this game. Yeah. Maybe not even fourth. There's so many good ones.
Yeah.
Right. So they all come to, and Fragile is out cold from a jump shock. They discharge the ballast to surface. Hunters are swarming the Magellan after emerging, and they go airborne. In the distance, you see a ripping seam to Amelie's beach. And you see multiple upside-down whales, like the giant one that we saw at the end of Death Stranding 1. You see other floating BT manta rays. You see the APAS 4000 BTs. You see the servers. You see a giant BT that is in the water. So this is where Higgs is. So apparently he can move beaches because this isn't actually his beach. Or, no, wait, this would be the beach that he was left at.
It's the APAS 4000 beach. The servers are.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but this is also where Higgs is, right? So.
Yeah. I just thought somehow Higgs came to this beach.
So somehow he is able to move beaches. Because he was left in a beach.
He got trapped on Amelie's beach.
Yes. Because Hartman, we just barely found out, was trying to look for him, and he wasn't.
Yes.
He couldn't find him on his beach. But this is the beach he's on, which is the APAS beach.
Gotcha. Anyway,
the giant BTs do, in fact, guard over hunters in the scene. So when I saw this, when the camera just like zoomed out and showed the servers and showed the giant BTs and everything flying overhead, I was like, I just had like 5+ things confirmed to me that I just like made up out of whole cloth while talking about Death Stranding 1. I was elated, right? Because even since Death Stranding 1, in like one of the opening sequences of Death Stranding 1, when we see like this interpretive dream sequence in the seam, or maybe it's like the first time you repatriate or something like that, you see like a shadow of a giant BT fly overhead. That was probably this manta ray BT that was flying overhead. And somewhere in our last discussion of Death Stranding 1, I talked about how I'm pretty sure these BTs that are flying over the seam, they're probably guarding the BTs that are in the water, these hunter BTs that we came to find out that they're called, from escaping the seam, because they want them to stay in there, but they want to live, they want to get out, and they want to survive. And just like seeing all of this portrayed for the first time, I was like, this is all real. This is all exactly how I thought it was.
I did it. I'm so smart. Yeah.
I smart boy. I smart boy. I was so happy about this.
I'm happy for you, man. It's just, I feel like you've given me applause a couple times. But Shan does most of the lore work on this, so he deserves some applause too.
Well, and we also, like, at the beginning of this game, Death Stranding 2, we talked about how like they're drenched in blue, so that means that they're in the tar. And that's when I was like, okay, I figured out in Death Stranding 1 that in the tar means that they're in the seam, and that's why they're in blue, because we know that blue is beach, right? Uh, Technically, in this game, they don't really reveal why they're blue until they emerge from the tar right here at the end of the game.
Yeah.
But I kind of just talked about it openly throughout this entire game because I just like
Because you
I
figured
understood that since Dead Stranding 1. So them coming up through the seam, then the BTs flying around. I was like, what else did you love about this moment? Like, was this a big revelation for you as well?
I didn't have the same like lore revelations that you did, but visually, very cool stuff is going on here. Like,
Okay.
and I think that technically a lot of the stuff that I was a big fan of happens in the next chapter or episode
Yeah.
15, and I think that's next. We're going to talk about
It's
that next
next.
time, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I won't get into that just yet, but so I won't get into
Yeah.
that yet.
I was very similar to Eric. Like visually, it's really cool. It kind of gives you like this. I don't know. Previously, when we've seen a beach, we've been on the beach. We have a very limited view. Coming here, you kind of see the beach ecosystem as a whole, which is just really really cool. It's not just hey, there's this little shoreline with some dead whales or servers or what.
It's a lot more lively than most beaches.
Yeah, exactly.
There's lots of things going on and lots of BTs there, and it's a more eventful than any beach we've been to so far.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they zoom in. They can see that tomorrow is in the middle of this sky seam, I guess you could call it, in her chrysalis. And so Sam needs to run out there. He needs to go save them. Fragile hugs him. She gets really clingy. She won't let him go. She says she'll always be with him. So this is foreshadowing. We'll talk about it later. Sam sees Amelie walk off. So a lot of Amelie foreshadowing. This keeps like building up. Foreshadowing, probably. We'll talk about it later. That's the end of episode 14. We did it 5 episodes. We only have 2 left. And then bonus content. I love this.
We intentionally left the last 2 to have their own episode because there's about 100 million things we want to talk about. So. If you
They're the
thought
most badass
the Die Hardman
episodes.
dance, if you thought the Die Hardman dance was the coolest thing ever, just you wait.
You're almost right.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we might be able to shove the bonus content at the end of the next episode as well. It just depends on like how
Now
the
let's
notes
milk it.
go.
Yeah.
Let's milk it.
Just 3 or 4 more episodes. Yeah. It's my mistake for saying milk it. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Please like, comment, subscribe. You can find us wherever you find podcasts. Please watch Eric's Indie Corners on Thursdays. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
So fast. Bye.
Thank you. I'm very good at this now.
Yeah.
Outro. Bleepy doof, bleepity, bloopity blow.